It is that time of year again. The Champions League final is upon us, and this year it's between two Premier League clubs. Manchester City take on Chelsea, and for Manchester City it is their first ever appearance in the Champions League final. For Chelsea it's their third appearance, but obviously both teams will be desperate to win. Now, Guardiola, City's manager, hasn't actually been to the Champions League final since 2011 with Barcelona. His opposite number, Thomas Tuchel, was there much more recently. He was the losing manager last season when Bayern Munich beat Paris Saint-Germain 1-0. Now, the game is taking place in Portugal so that English fans can actually travel to the game. There's going to be 6,000 fans from each club there, although Chelsea haven't actually sold out their full allocations. Now, going into the game, Chelsea have actually lost 3 of their last 4 games, which is not the best way to prepare for a game such as the Champions League final. However, in the last 5 weeks, they've actually beaten Man City twice in that time, so that will give them confidence. They do have a couple of serious injury concerns, though. Their goalkeeper, Mendy, got injured on the final game of the Premier League season last week. He hit a post, basically trying to save the ball at Villa Park. And then, obviously, the big one for Chelsea is their midfielder, Kante. They obviously want both of those players to be playing. I think if the goalkeeper's not available, they can deal with that much better. But if Kante's not there, that's problematic for Chelsea, I think. Chelsea are likely to start playing with a 3-5-2 formation with wing-backs. That seems to be Tuchel's favoured formations. It's unlikely he's going to go 4 at the back for a game of this magnitude and mess things up too much. For most of the games when Chelsea have had this good run of form since he's arrived, he's played 3 at the back with 2 wing-backs, and I expect him to do the same for this game. It's pretty nailed on that Silva's going to start in the centre of that 3 in defence, along with Rudiger on the left-hand side. I think Reece James will probably play on the right-hand side of the back 3. And you're going to have Azpilicueta on the right-hand side, Chilwell on the left, who's been fabulous this season. If Kante's not fit, that's a massive problem for Chelsea, especially against Manchester City, who really... Chelsea need someone who can kind of break things up in the centre of the midfield, and there's really no one better at doing that than Kante. And I think if Chelsea can't select him or he's not fully fit, that is potentially a huge, huge problem for Chelsea. But who will play in the 4 with 3 really for Chelsea? Well, I think Mason Mount's obviously a cert. I think Werner will play as well. And to be perfectly honest with you, I really think that Havertz is going to take that last slot. I think it'll be those 3 leading the line up front for Chelsea. Although Werner hasn't scored loads of goals for Chelsea this season, the fact is he will be able to stretch Manchester City's high line in a way that no one else could for them. And I think supported by Mount and Havertz, he will lead the line well. And actually, this could be a really good game for Werner. So obviously, Manchester City go into this game as strong favourites. Pep Guardiola will be desperate to bring that trophy home for Manchester City for the first time in their history. Now, Pep is probably going to play a strikerless formation. That seems to be what he's played for most of this season, really. And I can't see him starting Aguero, for example, even though Aguero scored 2 on the last day of the season against Everton. I think that Aguero will have a role to play, but I don't think he'll start the game. And really, I think for Manchester City, you're going to be looking at 3 key men in terms of an attacking sense. I think you're going to be looking at Foden, Mahrez and De Bruyne. And I think that those 3 players will give Manchester City enough going forward. A lot of people asking whether Sterling is going to start this game. Personally, I don't think he will. I think he starts on the bench. Recent evidence suggests that Sterling's a little bit out of favour with Pep, but also Sterling's form this season hasn't really been good enough for his standards. He also had a bit of a knock recently and he's fighting for fitness to get back, so I'd be very surprised if Sterling was in the starting 11, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility that he might be. We all know what Man City are about. They play lots of short passes, they don't take many risks, they control possession, they control the ball, and there's no reason why that's going to change in the Champions League final. They will play how they play, and Pep has built his whole career on his teams playing that certain way. What Chelsea need to do, they have to, as I mentioned, is stretch Man City somehow. That's what they have to do. And I think with the wing-backs and Chilwell and Werner and Mason Mount, they can do that. But chances for Chelsea, in my opinion, are going to be few and far between. So when a chance falls to someone, it might be Werner, they have to take it. They have to be clinical in front of goal. But whatever way you look at it, I think we've got a really exciting game on our hand, especially the fact that Chelsea have beaten Manchester City twice recently. Manchester City have so much on this game. This for me is a bigger deal for Manchester City than it is for Chelsea, because Chelsea have been there and they've done it in the past as a club. Manchester City, this is brand new, and the pressure is on them because they're expected to win. So let's get to my predictions then. So my bold prediction number 1 is that there's going to be a red card in the first half an hour of this match. I think there's going to be some big tackles. I think there's going to be quite a lot of late tackles, physical play, and I really think that there could well be someone overstepping the mark early on in the game, and I think that there could be a red card in the first half an hour. My second bold prediction is that I think that at some point during this game, there's going to be a stoppage because something enters the field of play that isn't one of the players. So I think there's going to be something that stops the Champions League final temporarily because it gets on the field. Now, that could be a wild animal. It could be a person. You can definitely see some sort of like wild dog or fox or something running onto the pitch and stopping play temporarily. My third and final bold prediction is that there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. The last 2 meetings between these sides, Chelsea won 1-0 and 2-1. I think that actually in this game there's going to be more than 3 goals in the game. The bookies don't agree with this. They've put that the under 2.5 goals as the favourite, so they're expecting it to be 2 goals or 1 goal. I think differently. I think it's going to be over 3 goals. I really think that this game could end up with 4 or 5 goals in it. So then, my final prediction. Now, I always, usually anyway, make the prediction of going for the favourite in the final. But that has actually come back to bite me quite a lot of times in the past, where the underdog has come forward, put up a great performance and nicked the win. In a one-off game, that can happen. And I am not writing Chelsea off in this final whatsoever. I think it's massively important that Kante plays for Chelsea. I can't underestimate how important I think he will be for them. If he's not playing, I think that City will win quite comfortably, to be honest. But if he does play, I think this game's going to be tight. Even though there'll be quite a lot of goals, I do believe that Kante will make a massive difference in terms of Chelsea's potential of winning the thing. Manchester City they want this one more than anything. Yes, Chelsea have beaten Manchester City the last 2 times they've met. This is just different. I think this just feels different. This is what Manchester City have been working towards for like 4 years, 5 years now. I think they'll do it. I think they will do it. And I actually think that Manchester City will win this game 3-1. So what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching and enjoy the final, and I'll see you really soon for another video.